you can only, I mean, there's 15 spots, but you can only have 13 active. And just for simplicity's sake, let's say, like, let's just agree one of these guys gets the job. Like Merrill, we'll say Merrill gets that 15 spot, and we'll say, I mean, it might change between, if depending on who we choose for these last spots. But like, who do you think's suiting up? You can have 13 guys suit up each night and two inactives. And so who are the 13 guys each night?
Well, you can definitely say that whoever that 15th spot is one of the inactive guys. The
Mm.
other inactive, because like think about, you're not going to make any of your guards inactive. I mean, aside from maybe the third point guard, which we'll all address in a second. But Fox, Mitchell, Herder, Monk, and Davis are not going to be inactive. Barnes and Bazemore, you need Bazemore, regardless if he's not going to be playing to the top potential, even though a bounce back year is probably more likely. The guy
Murray, Lyles.
Keegan Murray, Trey Lyles, and then you probably carry two, maybe three centers.
I think you carry three. I think you
Yeah,
carry Sabonis.
they always carried.
Sabonis.
You're always carrying. They were carrying Len with the other two.
Yeah,
Late last year. So I would expect that to kind of be the same. So what is that? You're basically
that's
leaving.
12.
You're either going to make the third point guard inactive, or you're going to make Chimezie Metu inactive. And I would almost be tempted to say that Chimezie Metu, probably like it depends how much they feel comfortable with maybe other guards or other people facilitating, but I don't know if they feel comfortable with that. So they might want to be carrying that third point guard as an insurance policy. Because those last two guys, anyways, even if they are active, the last 2, 3, maybe even 4 guys that are active, sometimes they're not even in the nightly rotation or even in the plan for the night, So it's like they probably would want to do that. I think Chimezie Metu realistically is kind of, again, like it seems like he was like this last year. He's just on the outside looking in, and he's always relevant because he's interesting, and he brings a lot of things to the table, and he seems like such an intriguing, like, I don't want to call him like a prospect, but young player. He's an intriguing young player, and like we always say, and like we said about some of these other guys, if he can just like really be like a consistent shooter, like, man, like that'd be amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think for that reason that he's not. I mean, that really limits him. I think he's just kind of the third power forward, and I don't know if you really carry the third power forward into an active as an active player on a nightly basis. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's definitely between Metu and Dellavedova and Cook, like you said. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, I doubt either of them will play that much, and so I don't know if it'll matter too much. I could
Right.
I could see Metu playing more if he was on the roster compared to Dellavedova and Cook.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like maybe you want the insurance at that backup point guard spot, and you decided to take that third point guard instead. I think to start off, I think Metu's that 13th spot just because. I mean, I don't know. I quit. It's not like Cook and Dellavedova aren't experienced players. They've been in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'd be weird to just cut out Metu like this after being on the Kings for the last 2-3 years. And
I was going to mention that, and I think you're kind of getting there. Like it would be. I feel like you're talking about the fact that those guys are older. They've been around. They're going to be able to adjust if they're not suiting up every night. It might be better for like Metu's. I don't know the guy, but like it might be better for his confidence. If
yeah,
he's suiting up, and I would imagine that's not going to be the same. It might change night to night. Who's active, but if they think in a particular matchup that they maybe would like to have a little extra size or something like that, they definitely might want Metu more often than not. But that's an interesting point because. And I don't know if you were going to say that, but I just thought about that. It's just like, yeah, maybe it has something to do with like the confidence of a fairly young player that has not found his footing in this league. I mean, he's had moments where he has, even down the stretch last year when he got opportunities after the Sabonis injury. He looked pretty good at times. He had some of those, Mezzi Mamba moments, where he just go off. But it's like, how often and how frequent can he tap into that?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not honestly. I'm not the biggest Metu guy. I think he gets a lot of hype for some reason. I've never understood it. I don't know. He jacks up way too many threes for me and misses the majority of them, and it just kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, he's
Um,
got that. He has the Mamba mentality, but it's like only sometimes is he following through.
exactly, and
Only sometimes does he deserve the Mezzi Mamba.
yeah, and I don't want that guy on the floor if he's just gonna if he thinks he can shoot but he really can't, but he doesn't stop shooting. It's just to me it's a liability at that point, and I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just
It could be interesting because we are talking about a situation where even if he is active, playing time is going to be sparse no matter what.
yeah,
So
but
in that
mhm.
kind of killer mentality, whether it's phony or legitimate or somewhere in between, like that could be like what was if you're having a terrible offensive night, and you just like, I don't know, like maybe you're looking for just a solution just quickly with like a second unit in, and you're not getting production from some scorers off the bench or something like that, and you're just like, I'm just gonna put in Metu. Like, doesn't Metu seem like the type of guy where he just like, oh my god, did you see Metu in his first game of the season, 3 weeks in, he scored 20 off the bench. Like, he's the type of freaking son of a bitch to do that. I mean,
He
not saying
is.
that he's gonna do that, but something to that effect. It's just, I don't know. He's such a kind of, he could be lightning in a bottle, and sometimes he can just be an empty bottle.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. And like I said, like last year, he was that guy that was throwing down the oops. He was throwing down the dunks, getting the crowd into it, getting the team a little energized. And, it's something you can't overlook. And I think it's an important job to have. I think you need at least one of those guys on your team. Um, and he's the guy at this moment who provides that. And, hey, I mean, he is lightning in a bottle. If his shots working, I mean, we saw that game against who was it, the Magic, or was it the Magic where he just like had a great game
I
for
think
like
it
20?
was the Magic.
Yeah, and he had like a
It
good
was either the
game.
Magic or the Pacers game. It was one of the
Yeah,
two.
I think so too. I was thinking the Pacers as well. But anyways, like he had a great first half. I think he scored like 20 points in the first half or something, or pretty close to that. And I mean, if that shot's falling, he's definitely shown that he has some skill. He's not just. I mean, I don't like calling him a 3-point shooter because I don't think he's good enough. But he like takes enough attempts where it's like, all right, what are you doing? But I mean, around the
Shooter's
rim,
mentality.
exactly, is that shooter's mentality, and they can fall sometimes. But he's also decent around the post, around the basket. He always surprises me with his post moves. I'm like, okay, like you don't seem like a guy who has that in your bag, but he has some good post, moves in the post, and he can run well with a team, especially a young team. He can rebound decently. His defense is whatever, nothing special, but he definitely has his qualities, and I think I like that lightning in a bottle. Like he definitely has that X factor to him.